This video was sponsored by Hero Forge. More about them at the end of the story. Hi everyone and welcome back to Roll for Damage. Today I have with me Mike from Wonders N Blunders to tell me a story about his D&D experiences. Hi Mike.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. What story do you have for us today?
So I've got a story from the first campaign, the first long-running campaign that I ever ran. So right now I'm the DM for Wonders N Blunders, and we are all we're a crew of Newfoundlanders, but all of us at some point moved to Toronto. And while there, even though we didn't all really know each other, Newfoundlanders kind of magnetize to each other and just kind of glom together no matter where they end up.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that and said, you know, we're all dorks and we would love to play Dungeons and Dragons. And I said, you know what, like, screw it. I will learn how to DM and I'll run a campaign for us. And slowly the group of us grew to 7. So I was starting my first long-term campaign with almost double the people that are meant to be in a D&D campaign.
It's a big group. Like 7's huge.
Yeah, it's big. It was really big. And because of that, it was I was trying to learn how to balance encounters for that many people and make it like somewhat challenging without just absolutely killing them. And there were some, you know, fairly legendary events throughout that. The campaign itself was called the God Killer campaign. Because in my world, in the homebrew world I came up with, gods are just kind of around, like they're walking around. They're extremely powerful. They've got their own agendas and their own rivalries and that kind of thing, which come to bear on mortal cities all the time. So their first encounter was trying to escape a city where 2 avatars of gods were fighting. Because I guess I just wanted to jump the shark, episode 1.
Is this the same world that the Wonders N Blunders is played in?
Yes, yeah. So I ran this for 2 years before starting Wonders N Blunders and just started Wonders N Blunders on the other large continent.
Okay. I'm keen to hear the story of the God Killer campaign. So what happened?
So there were several kind of very fun things that happened with that party, including a strategy called Giant Bear, where our druid, we had a moon druid who would turn into a bear, and then they would enlarge that bear and send it into a tunnel as just a war machine, where it would just scoop its claws into rooms full of orcs and drag them into the hallway and eat them. But throughout the campaign, there was one player whose character was just a complete agent of chaos. His name was Creosis. He was a warlock and kind of like a soothsayer of doom, just constantly saying that the world is doomed, that, you know, chaos will reign and the only way out of the doom is through throwing a monkey wrench in the whole works of creation. Just classic warlock stuff.
Yeah, that sounds a little like insane. Completely insane is what that sounds like.
Completely insane, yeah. And we had kind of a cleric de Paylor who was very much the opposite side of that, very like law and order, very kind, wanting to do the best for everybody, and the best way to do that is through orderly plans. We had a wizard, kind of a curmudgeonly, weight of the world on my shoulders wizard, as wizards tend to be, I feel, because they just get so much power that they really sway the tides of battle so much. He was an abjuration wizard and a sailor named Sam. And so he really felt responsible for the party because he was that abjuration. He was there to like stop spells and put up shields and that kind of thing. He felt it was almost like matronly over the party.
He was party dad.
Yeah, he was party dad. And he, you know, was very disappointed in everybody very often.
Okay.
So this story is when one of our players had to leave. He was moving away from Toronto. So his character, Rob Domino, the legendary halfling fighter, who just was constantly pulling just the most absolutely incredible feats, like riding dragons, backflips to beheading orcs, that kind of thing. Very flashy, incredible fighter. He had to move. So I set up a scenario in which I was like, I think the player would really like to go out in a blaze of glory, like finally find the fight that Rob Domino can't best. So I made an impossible fight. It was way above their pay grade, really, really difficult, something that Rob could say, you know what, I got this, the rest of you get out of here. And that was kind of the send-off that I wanted to give him. And it didn't go as planned. The party was unwilling to allow Rob to do that. So everybody stayed and fought. So what they were fighting was like a modified... so the warlock, as they were making their way through the forest, they started getting followed by these like fairy fey lights of these sort of happy little fairies that were just lighting the way for the party, curiously watching them. Chaos Warlock immediately burning hands to all of them.
Okay.
Did not like them. They came up with a pretty good justification. They were saying like, oh, they're lighting us up. If anybody's watching us, then they're going to see where we are. So he just burning hands the whole thing like that wasn't going to cause more attention. So the fairy lights fly away and then possess a bunch of trees, creating these super treants and attacking the party now that they had proven themselves a threat to the forest by burning down part of it. So I was like, this is perfect. This is a great send-off. One of the trees was like this horrific treant that had been lit completely on fire. So it itself was a burning tree that ran on all fours like a horse, while two more stayed in the back hucking boulders, because that treant boulder attack is completely insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so everyone was getting absolutely nailed by boulders. Rob Domino was blinking in and out of the ethereal, fighting this flaming tree. It was awesome. Chaos Warlock goes down, gets absolutely smashed by a boulder. 1 death save failed. 2 death saves failed. The party beats the trees. They escape. The trees become inert again. They track everybody down. They find the Warlock. As they're doing the medicine check, 3rd failed death save. Warlock is dead. But we have a cleric. And earlier, the party had gone through a quest and found a diamond.
But
the diamond... Fix. So easy fix, right? Revivify. As long as it's within a minute, he's right there. The cleric's right there. It should be no problem. The only problem is that the wizard has the diamond. The cleric says, Sam, give me the diamond. And party dad says no.
I'm disappointed he can sit there and think about what he's done.
Yes. So, and to provide, so this is the kind of thing. This is not one of those stories that it's like, this is a horror story. This was a terrible thing that this player did. Everybody in character was like, Sam, what are you doing? Give him the diamond. All of the players were like, I can't believe you're doing this, but you're right. So to give some like backstory for it, this soothsayer had this evil book, which was kind of the MacGuffin of the campaign, was using the book to do terrible stuff, like summoned an imp who only knew how to like give people the finger, had basically caused, by running away and causing all this chaos, had caused the main city, Theramore, where they had been, to detonate. They accidentally like blew up, or there was a terrorist attack on the city, which blew up the main square, sinking it into the ground, destroying the whole sewer system, blowing up the college, the magical college there, blowing up the court, all of these things, basically because Criosus the Warlock had run off and forced everyone to go find out where he was. Because they were dealing with him, they couldn't stop the real problems that were happening in the city. That, among some other generally dangerous things, including this whole tree fight, were caused by Criosis. So Sam, Party Dad, said, I'm very disappointed, and for that, he should stay dead. I don't think we should bring him back. He is a liability. He is a danger to all of us and everybody who we're trying to help. He's actively holding us back. And this created the most dramatic moment that I've ever had in a role-playing game. The scene of it is Sam is saying no. Emir, the cleric, is grabbing Sam, holding onto his robes, and just punching him, crying, screaming for him to give him the diamond, as Sam casts Fly and lifts both of them up off the ground. And he says, listen, we're both hurt. I'm keeping the diamond. If you knock me out, we both fall. And so just this image of the rest of the party circled around the dead warlock, looking up as this wizard holds the diamond just out of the cleric's reach. And Agent was that warlock. And he knows the rules of D&D better than me. He knew it was Revivify that they were trying to use. And he knows that 1 minute after you die, Revivify no longer works. And so while all this was happening, I looked to Agent, and he was looking at his watch. And he just went, while they were up there fighting, he just went 3, 2, 1, and then gave me his character sheet.
That's awesome.
It was, yeah.
Oh, that's one of the coolest things I've heard in a while when it comes to D&D, because it's not like the big battle. It's this cool little character thing. I really like the whole idea of just the wizard rising into the air, holding the diamond, and just looking down at the cleric who's trying to pummel him, being like, "No, we can't allow this." All right, continue.
Yeah, so I mean that was kind of the end of the story. I mean once he handed the character sheet over, they looked at each other. Both of them knew too long had passed. Emir knows how the spell works. Sam has what's it called? The perfect memory feat. Keen mind.
Yep.
So both of them know enough time has passed, and so both of them Emir stops punching him, just stops speaking. They lower back down to the ground, and then Sam gives Emir the diamond.
How was the interactions between Emir and Sam after that? Were they were they angry with each other for a long time, or was it just kind of resolved fairly quickly?
Yeah, they were. So there was a lot of not talking because they were quite hurt by all of this. And they were, at this point, I think they were slowly closing in on the big bad. They were making their way into the forest towards this temple where the big bad was trying to do big bad temple things. And so there was a lot of downtime for travel. And this group, the group that is in Wonders and Blunders, they do not do fast travel. They role play every second. I cannot get them anywhere quickly because they just want to role play.
That's good.
And so it is. It's great. I love it. I mean, it's hard because for Wonders and Blunders now, I think they've done 3 weeks in-game time, and we've been playing for a year.
Okay.
But it takes a long time to get anywhere. But in the jungle here, I mean, they were role playing the whole way, but they were role playing this angry silence where everyone was they couldn't really blame Sam for what he did, but they could be angry about it. And so especially Emir and Sam could not talk to each other. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know Sam gave this suggestion to be we have to do this, and Emir just punched him in the face and just kept walking.
That sounds really cool. I like lasting character consequences and effects on their personalities. I don't like things just being like brushed on the rug and just like quickly, oh well, we're teams, we have to deal with it, like move on.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome.
I think it was a couple of months before they like got over it. I remember there was a time where none of us could play together, and they were stranded on an island. So I said like 2 months, you're going to be on this island. What do you want to do over those 2 months? And one of the first things they did was they had a chat on the boat, Amir and Sam, over Google Hangouts, just as a text back and forth. And they role played over text, and I was just kind of there watching in case they needed outside information. And it just started out as, what are we going to do while we're here? We are kind of the leaders. We have to talk about what's going to happen. And slowly it came up what happened to Criosis and why Sam did that, and how Amir forgave him, kind of. And they kind of were able to talk it out, and it was that really long natural healing time that they took together.
Did Kieran, Agent,
Yeah.
Did Agent get a new character for the big bad, or was it kind of
Yes.
So he was like back in the game pretty quickly?
Yeah. So he came back in as Tanasir the Glamour Bard.
Oh, he
and
loves
Eladrin.
Glamour Bards.
Yeah. So he came back in, which was a very funny addition to the group, as you know, this big, still, it's Kieran, so an agent of chaos, but a much more party agreeable agent of chaos this time. Someone who has a very positive chaos about them.
I get the feeling from Agent that he doesn't really mind if his character dies, as long as it's in like an acceptable way, and then he just gets into making a new character and he loves it. Yeah.
I mean, I felt horrible. It was the first time I'd ever killed a character, and it wasn't. I had tried to kill a character that time. It was the first time I was actively like, I'm going to try to kill somebody, which now I would no longer do. Just at the time, because a player was leaving, they were a very combat-based character. They wanted this glory. It felt like it made sense at the time. I don't think I would do it again, but the fact that I killed the wrong one, like, I think overall it was great because it ended up becoming this big scene. But I still don't think I would do that again.
No, I think one of the first rules the DM learns is that the party never do what you expect. So being like, I'm going to kill this character because of these reasons, and the party's like, no, you're not. We have something to say about that. All right. Thanks for telling the story. That was interesting, and I kind of I wish there was like a way for us to, see or hear some of your DMing. Do you want to tell us where we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at the Wonders N Blunders podcast. So we're at Wonder N Blunder on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We are getting close to the end of season 1 right now. And we're hoping to have season 2 be a very inclusive. You don't necessarily have to have listened to all of season 1 to listen to it. So if you want to come in and catch the end of this season, now's a great time to jump in. Things are just getting really wild. So come check us out.
All right. I will definitely be re-listening to a good portion of Wonders N Blunders because it's been a while since I've got at it. Thank you very much for stopping by. We will be seeing you again soon on the channel on Twitch, where you play as our lovely Tabaxi in the Scales Above campaign, which is starting up again very soon on Friday nights for Eastern Standard Time and Saturday mornings for Australian Western Standard Time. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This video is sponsored by HeroForge. You can find a link in the description. HeroForge is an online customization tool for creating miniatures. They have a ton of races and assets and weapons to use to make your characters whatever you want. I've had endless hours of entertainment designing characters with the ability to change their body proportions and expressions and clothes and all sorts of things. They even have the ability to 3D print your minis. They also have professional painting services and the ability to turn your characters into tokens of your preferred virtual tabletop. I think Hero Forge is awesome and I hope you like them too. Thanks for watching.